Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone today? Um, while people come on, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Kelly Howard. I am the fitness consistency expert with a touch of adventure. If we haven't met before, the reason that people call me that is because of two things. One of them is that I think it's so important. Let me rephrase that. I think that fitness consistency is truly the magic bullet, the magic star that gets women our age moving and moving well. Plus, when you add that touch of adventure, it gives us something exciting to look forward to, right? It gives us something to do. It gives us something to reach for. It gives us fun in our movement. And if you've met me before, you know I say it all the time. If it's not fun, it is not sustainable. So thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. And today, this is kind of like part two. Last month, I started to do like Q&A. So my whole team put together all these questions for me, and I was just gonna like run through them rapid fire. But of course, in true Kelly fashion, I couldn't run through them rapid fire. I had to like dive in on each one of them. So today is part two to part one. And if you haven't listened to part one, go back. I think it's about episode 167 in the podcast, but you can go back and listen to it, or you can catch it on social media. But either way, it's the first part of what we'll be doing with this Q&A. And if you have a question, if you have something that you would like me to answer, you can drop into the Fit is Freedom. Fitisfreedom.com is a website. Easy for me to say. Fitisfreedom.com is the website. There's a contact form there. You can drop me a question that way. You can drop me a question on social. We're Fit is Freedom on social all the way across the board. Or you can drop me an email, simply kelly@fitisfreedom.com. So once again, thank you so much for being here, and let's dive into part two of the Q&A. So here's the next question that I have. When I get up in the morning, everything hurts. What do I do? That is not uncommon. Actually, that's something that's a question or a statement that I get a lot. And there's a lot to unpack here, because one of the things is that like everything is such a big, overarching statement, and it's debilitating if it's everything. So I would first start and really truly everything is what I hear quite frequently. Okay. But I'd like you to think about unpacking that statement, like unpacking it. So what is everything? And let's break it down and look at, what's bothering you. Like when you get up or when you wake up, what's really hurting? I mean, it could be that, you wake up and maybe you get up and one of your ankles, you notice it, and then you walk around and you realize that maybe your hip's bothering you a little bit, or your neck's a little cricked or whatever. And that's that thing that leads to everything. So first thing you want to do is just assess yourself and say, like, what's really hurting me? Like what's really twitching me out? And why? Okay. So, I mean, it could be as simple as bad pillow, right? Wake up in the morning, bad pillow, neck bothers you. Or it could be as vast as all of the things, that are connected, because everything is connected. That I will use an overarching statement on. So just think about it, like break it down. When something doesn't feel good on your body, the best thing to do is, well, I guess there's two things to do. One of them is don't panic. Okay. Just don't panic, because we have, well, I mean, if you watch any TV, you'll see that I think every commercial is about some prescription that's going to fix us because something's wrong. There's all these things wrong with us. And in general, most of us, if you're listening to me, you're probably pretty healthy, really. Like you're up in your game, or you're ready to up your game. You're if you don't feel great right now, you're going to be feeling great. So break it down and say, like, what's really going on? Like, what's bothering you? Maybe like And why? I mean, a really easy one. Earlier in the year, I had a broken arm. Well, once that arm came out of the cast, if I pushed down on that hand until it became really strong again, if I pushed down in a certain way, heck yeah, it hurt. It hurt a lot. But it was really very, very common because I just hadn't done all the care I needed to get it back into 100%. So really, like, instead of worrying about all of it, break it down. Don't panic, and know that our bodies are amazing at coming back. Okay, so that's one. Another thing is that start your day, start your movement, start everything that you do with a little bit of mobility. Okay, our joints need to be warmed up. We grew up, all of us, I think, that listen to this podcast, we grew up in a time when you would, if you would read about stretching, there was always this debate. Do you stretch before? Do you stretch after? Like, when do you stretch? Like, and the reason there was a debate was because stretching, which is really good for us, wasn't just the thing that we needed to be doing. First, we needed to warm everything up. That's what mobility is. And the interesting thing is, I've been blabbing about mobility for a few years now, but now I'm starting to hear it everywhere. And all it really means is warm up what you're doing. Okay? Just warm up your shoulders, warm up your hips, warm up everything so that as you go through the day, you aren't feeling uncomfortable. Okay? And you can even do a little mobility, or even better yet, I would say a little yoga before you go to sleep. Like, yoga is that thing, especially yin yoga, which is nothing but taking some very simple yoga poses and holding them longer than you normally would. Okay, that's all it is. But just taking child's pose and holding it for a minute or two, that can do wonders for your body. Or what's another one? I mean, some people, I happen to like down dog a lot. If it's easy for you to do, that's another one. Like, pick a couple of poses, yoga poses, and do them before you go to sleep. What you're doing is you're settling your nervous system down so it makes sleep better. It makes sleep easier. And you're stretching your body out so that as you sleep, it just feels better. Okay, so think about those. Those are a couple of really simple things. First, assess: is everything really hurting, or what's really going on, right? And why? Like, maybe you just need a new pair of shoes. Like, right? There's just so many things to do. And then warm it up. Do your mobility. Do those kinds of things. My favorite place to go for, oh my gosh, this isn't feeling good, what do I do next? It's called thereadystate.com. It's from Kelly Starrett. Kelly was interviewed here on the podcast, I think it was last year. Kelly is an amazing guy, super smart, knows what he's doing, and his website is so what's the word? Spot on. That's my high-end word for right now. So spot on. And it's an inexpensive site, like $15 a month, and you have access to basically all the videos, all the information that he has. You just go on, you find something that's hurting, and you go, hey, my shoulder's bothering me, what do I do? And follow the exercises. It's like having PT on your computer. So that's my first go-to. Now, of course, if you're really hurting, go to the doctor. We all know this, right? But if it's just that nagging, niggly, oh my gosh, I don't feel good, how am I going to fix this up thing? Stop, assess, warm up, and take care of yourself. All right. So, and this is why that first Q&A was so long. So we're going to just do 3 questions today, promise. Question number 2. Okay, let me see if I can find it here. Oh, this is a good one. I only have 30 minutes a day. That's it. For myself, here's what the question says. I only have 30 minutes a day to myself. What do you recommend for my fitness? Okay, so 30 minutes, that's all she's got. End of story. But I will say one thing, just between you and I and the person who wrote in, once she gets started doing this, she's going to find more time. We always do. We find time for the things we love. But in the meanwhile, 30 minutes, that's all you got. First thing you want to do, we just talked about it, a little bit of mobility. Okay, 5 minutes, 5 minutes a day, brilliant. That will get you moving. That will get, the shoulders, the hips, the ankles, everything kind of flowing properly so you feel good. Then I would spend, if I only had 30 minutes a day, I would say that I'd spend 5 minutes on mobility. I would probably take 10 minutes and go outside, unless it's just absolutely unequivocally nasty as all get out. I would get outside for 10 minutes because that outdoors, it's as good for your mind, your brain, it's as good for your body, and it's as good for your soul as anything you could do. So get out there and walk around, work up a sweat. 10 minutes. Actually, I'm going to give you a couple of options here. So this is day one. 10 minutes outside after your 5 minutes of mobility, and then 15 minutes of some sort of resistance training. Okay, it could be with bands, it could be with Pilates machine, it could be like on the ground doing Pilates moves, it could be strength training. Doesn't matter, just something to get those muscles moving, because we lose muscle mass. Okay, that's one thing that I'm going to admit age does to us. We lose muscle mass, so we got to work on it. So that's one day. The other day is, I would say, take 5 minutes of mobility, get everything working really good, and then go out and do 20 minutes of high intensity. And when I talk about high intensity, I'm not talking about like throwing yourself down on the floor doing burpees or all those things. No, that's not my gig. What I'd like to see you do is start out slow. You don't have to go far and fast. This is like 20 minutes max. It's high intensity, 20 minutes. But you know what high intensity 20 minutes means? It means you've got a 20-minute window. It doesn't mean you're going hard for 20 minutes. So you go out and maybe for 30 seconds, you walk as fast as you possibly can. Or better yet, you find some stairs or some inclines, and you can go up as fast as you possibly can. I mean, give your body 30 minutes. I'm sorry. Give your body 30 seconds of like hard movement, and then give your body a minute of relaxation. And when I say relaxation, dial it back, walk slower. Don't do the stairs, don't do the incline. If you're doing the incline, come down. Like, just give your body time to recover. So it's like 30 seconds and a minute, 30 seconds and a minute. You could be 45 seconds and a minute and a half. It really doesn't matter the mix. I think that if you're just getting started, definitely keep it, 30 seconds max for going hard. But just do that, and do it for, you don't even have to do it for 20 minutes. You do it for 18 minutes, and then you take 2 minutes to cool down, right? Slow walk. And at that point, then you also want to do a little bit more mobility, stretching, yoga, whatever it is, 5 minutes. Right there, you just knocked out another 30 minutes. So you see what I'm saying is that when you do this, now, okay, stopping one thing, when you do this, you're going to find more time. You may only have that 30 minutes a day for the first couple of weeks or the first 3 weeks, but what exercise does and what movement does is it makes us feel good, right? It gets the endorphins moving. It turns off the cortisol and turns on the happy hormones. And so you're just going to want more. So you'll find more time. But at the beginning, don't beat yourself up. If 30 minutes is your time frame, 30 minutes it is. So try that. And then come back. Ask me questions, which you do when you only have 45 minutes or an hour. All right. So question 3. Where is question 3 here? This one's a good one. It's really a statement. I don't know where to start. And that is, wow. I mean, that's like really, it's so big and it's so simple at the same time. So if you don't know where to start, let's do a few things really basic. One of them, go back and do the assessments I've talked about before. Like, just look at, how is your sleep? Okay. We want to know how your sleep is. Are you sleeping well? Are you sleeping 7+ hours a day? Like, how is your sleep? The next one is, how's your nourishment? right? Are you eating well? Are you nourishing yourself well, or are you like, eating the junk? Um, and and that could be like, I'm not going to go down that, whole nourishment path right now, but we all know. We really do. We all know if we're eating things that are good for us or things that are not so good for us. And then look at like, what are you currently doing fitness wise? Like, what's your current, not just level of activity, but your activities? Like, what are they? What you really want to come up with. And if you would like to, in the show notes, there is a place where you can do a link and it takes you to my calendar. You'll do a 15-minute one-on-one with me and we can work something out for you. Okay. Anyone who's listening today, jump into my calendar. I'm not going to give you the link right here because that's kind of silly, but go to the show notes or go to the comments if you're on social, whatever it is, just grab that link and do a quick call with me and I can help you get started, okay? But if you're not doing that, what you want to do is you want to mix. You want a mix of movement. Let me rephrase that. You want a mix of mobility. You want a mix of cardio and you want a mix of some form of resistance or strength training, okay? And that's it. It's all you need, those three things. If someone has told you that the only thing you need to do for the rest of your life is walk, run, run out the door, because we need all of those things. We need the mobility to keep our joints feeling good, right? Like we just talked about. We need the cardio to keep ourselves not just adding endorphins, but getting everything, our heart, everything working well, right? And then we need the strength training because our bones and our muscles lose mass. End story if we're not taking care of them. So you need those three things, and it can be a mix. Like in my world, I think that a good mix is maybe 2 days. If you haven't done any resistance whatsoever or any strength training whatsoever, maybe 2 days. Get someone who knows what they're talking about to help you. And then maybe 3 days of some sort of cardio, and then a couple days of rest. Rest is just as important, okay? Rest is just as important as everything else we talk about, okay? And it's so hard. Once you get in that point where you like really love to move, it's really hard to rest. To me, like here's how I negotiate with myself. I am definitely a cardio addict. There's no doubt about it. I'm Kelly and I have a cardio problem. And it's not the greatest thing for you. Okay. Cardio does not make you thin when you get older. Cardio does not make you healthy when you get older, because what it does is after an older, what I hate even saying that word, but there's a certain point there where if you go over, I don't know, I'm going to make something up, but say 45 to 60 minutes of cardio and you're going hard. What happens is that it starts taken away from us. It starts increasing the amount of cortisol that we're producing instead of getting rid of it. So know these things, and I don't want to make you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't like go out and do cardio now. That's not it. But what you want to do is, if you feel like on a rest day you shouldn't rest, go out for an easy walk. An easy walk. And what that's doing for you is, it's when you're outside, it makes your brain happier, it makes your nervous system calmer, and it makes your body feel better. So don't, like, rest days can be either super rest, like just chill. And even if it's just chill, I do a little teeny bit of mobility. Or it can be an easy walk. But come up with something simple that involves a couple days of some sort of strength or resistance. Once again, I would highly suggest you find someone. If it's not me, then find someone either online or at your local gym who knows how to work with your body, okay? There is a difference between training someone who is 20 and someone who is 60. There's a difference. So find someone who knows how to work with your body and wherever you fall on that scale, and then also do some cardio. And your cardio can be 20 minutes. If you do it for 20 minutes, do it at a pace where if you're walking, you've got, you can carry on a conversation, but you're working a little bit at it, right? It's not like I'm talking to you right now. So give it some push. All right. I'm going to stop because, as usual, I can talk. Podcasts were just made for me. I love these things. So, all right. So going back really quick, and I just want to say, if things are hurting, remember, like, assess before you panic. That's probably the bottom line. Assess before you panic. And yeah, and then find some good personal, like some good care outside of just going to a doctor who might give you medicine or pain medicine. Okay. Like, I am not a doctor, and I just did not give you medical advice, but make sure that you look for like some PT also. Okay. And then if you don't know where to start, just start easy, start slow. Okay. Start small, but do start moving with those several things that I just mentioned. And then I guess, and there's one more little thing I'd like to add there before I quit. When I said we need to make an assessment, part of that is because I like everybody to move, right? I think that's so important for us. And at the same time, if your sleep is really bad or your nourishment is really bad, it's going to be taken away from your movement. So do what you need to for your sleep. Okay, you need good sleep. Good sleep does so much for us. If you go back to the beginning of the podcast, I think I've got 2 or 3 really good, if I say so myself, really good episodes on like how to have your sleep be a superpower. Okay, because sleep can be a superpower. So you want your sleep to be good. You want your nourishment to be good. You don't have to be perfect. None of us need to be perfect. But if you can hit 80% of what I'm eating is pretty darn good for me, that's it. There you go. And then get moving. All right. Thank you so much for being here today. I will see you next week. And in the meanwhile, have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye now. Thank you.